The series begins with paramedics rushing to save someone, and we learn that a large car has been in an accident. A young man appears and goes to help them, but he is shocked to find out that he was the one in the accident, and his body is lying on the ground. It becomes clear that he is dead. The paramedics try to save him and take him to the ambulance. His friend arrives and rides with the ambulance, devastated. He tries to talk to them, saying he is fine, but no one can see or hear him. To understand what happened, we flash back 4 hours earlier. We learn that the young man, named Song, is still a high school student but is failing and never does anything useful in his life. He skips class and relaxes on the rooftop. His friend comes to call him, saying the teacher is looking for him, but he doesn't want to listen to her. She forces him to attend class. Meanwhile, we see a group of students bullying a classmate, forcing him to give them money. When the leader of the bullies hits him and takes his wallet, Song arrives and defends the student. He punches the bully, breaking his nose, and retrieves the money. However, the teacher sees this and assumes Song is the one bullying and stealing. The teacher scolds him, saying he doesn't deserve to be in school, but Song doesn't care. He gives the money back to the student and leaves. At home, we learn that Song lives with his stepmother, who constantly tells him he's a failure and should drop out of school because he'll never succeed. Song ignores her and leaves the house. Outside, he encounters a group of students who want to fight him. He tells them he's not in the mood for a fight today, but they insist. Song ends up teaching them a lesson, overpowering them completely. He takes down their leader and warns him not to mess with him again. The leader vows to take revenge one day, but it's revealed that despite their hostility, they are somewhat friends. Song then goes to the market and sees a young boy playing with a ball. He returns the ball to the boy, who thanks him. It's clear that Song is kind-hearted, even if he doesn't show it. He enters a restaurant to eat, and his friend joins him. When her classmates see Song, they get scared and leave the restaurant. She talks to him, telling him there are rumors that he bullies students. She asks him to defend himself, saying, "I know you're kind, and would never do that." He replies, "Let them say whatever they want. It doesn't matter." Suddenly, there's a loud noise, and they see a large car veering off the road and into the market. People panic and run, but Song notices the boy from earlier running to retrieve his ball. Song rushes to save the boy, pushing him out of the way just in time, but the car hits Song, killing him. We return to the present. Song realizes he died in the accident. Suddenly, a girl named Tota appears out of nowhere and tells him, "You didn't completely die." She introduces herself as a reaper of souls and shows him a card with his information. She tells him he's stubborn, reckless, and quick to anger. Song gets irritated and doesn't let her finish speaking. He goes to check on the boy he saved and is relieved to see he's okay. He starts walking around casually, unaffected by the fact that he's dead. Tota tells him he's not going to the afterlife or hell, but instead, she's taking him to the spirit world to explain everything. She opens a magical portal and takes him through it. They ride a boat across a river, and Song is shocked by what's happening. They arrive in a strange place where they meet the king of spirits. Song is surprised to see that the king looks young. The king tells Song he will bring him back to life on one condition. He must work as a spirit investigator, solving cases related to demons. The king shows him what these creatures look like, resembling locust-like insects, and explains that they exist in the human world. Song's task is to discover why they are there and capture them. The king is confident Song will agree because it means returning to life, but Song shocks him by refusing. He says he doesn't like being ordered around and believes everyone will be happy he's gone. He leaves, surprising the king, as he's the first person to refuse a chance to return to life. Tota talks to Song, advising him not to make a decision until he attends his funeral to see if people are truly happy about his death. Song agrees and decides to go. At the funeral, he sees the student he saved buying flowers for his grave, but the bullies attack the student and take his money. Song is angered by their actions, but happy the student remembers him. He also sees the boy he saved attending the funeral with his mother. The boy expresses his gratitude to Song, not knowing he sacrificed his life to save him. The boy's mother hugs him, crying, which deeply affects Song. he also sees his friend crying in front of his picture, regretting their arguments and wishing he could come back. Even his stepmother, who always called him a failure, is crying, realizing he was a hero. Seeing how much everyone cared for him, Song feels moved and starts wanting to return to life. Meanwhile, the bullies continue beating the student mercilessly. No one is there to defend him, and one of the bullies approaches him with malicious intent. Suddenly, the locust-like creature appears and enters the student's body through his ear. The student's body begins to convulse, emitting terrifying sounds, and he attacks one of the bullies, shocking everyone. The leader of the bullies hears the commotion and rushes to the scene, only to find the student attacking them with inhuman strength. Their motorcycle overturns, spilling gasoline on the ground. A fire starts due to a lighter, and the bullies flee in fear. The leader arrives, stunned by what he sees. At the same time, Song is standing by his friend, who is asleep. He wipes her tears to comfort her, but it was as if she felt him, and even though she couldn't see, she would wake up from sleep and keep calling out to him, asking him to come back. Song leaves and goes to Tota, telling her that he agrees to become a soul investigator. Naturally, she's thrilled by his words, and goes to the King of Souls to tell him what happened. However, he reveals that it all started long ago. He must return to life because there's a soul near his home, and his body is in danger. At that time, his stepmother notices that Song is breathing, but the fire reaches the house. The neighbors quickly rescue her and get her out of the house, but she insists on going back, saying that Song is still alive and she wants to save him. No one believes her and thinks she's hallucinating, but his friend doesn't doubt what's happening, saying she's sure he's alive. She risks her life and enters the house. Here, Song arrives, shocked by what she's doing and worried about her. He tries to get her to leave and leave him, but she doesn't hear him. She hugs his body to protect him from the fire. The ceiling collapses on them, but our hero saves her and carries her out. The King of Souls sees what's happening and begs Song to help him save her, because if she dies, he won't have a reason to return to life. Song agrees to follow all his commands. The King of Souls agrees and reminds him of the oath he made. He uses his power and casts a spell on him, bringing him back to life. Song wakes up, unable to believe his eyes, and finds his friend unconscious from the smoke. He carries her out of the house. His stepmother is shocked to see him, but he leaves her with his friend, saying he'll explain everything later. Right now, there are people he needs to save. He leaves and goes to the place where the creature is. The king tells him this is his first mission, to defeat the creature and save the city. Song arrives at the location and is shocked to find the creature controlling the student he saved. The student attacks the bullies and burns them with fire. They try to attack him together, but he has immense power, knocking them all to the ground with one move. One of the bullies tries to put out the fire, but the student attacks him from behind with a stick and approaches to finish him off. The bully thinks it's the end for him, but suddenly, Song arrives just in time and saves him, hitting the creature and pushing it away. He tries to talk to the student to bring him back to his senses, but the creature has full control over him. It pushes Song away, sending him flying. Song fights the creature with all his strength, but fails. He hears the King of Souls speaking in his ear, telling him that the only way to defeat the creature is to use his spiritual energy. Song doesn't understand anything and asks the king to teach him. The king starts explaining, but Song struggles to grasp it. Tota tells him to do the same thing he did when he tried to save his friend from the fire. Meanwhile, the creature begins to take over the student's body, transforming into a terrifying monster. Its hand turns into a blade-like weapon, and it moves swiftly across the ground. Song is shocked by what's happening and tries to escape, but the creature slashes his abdomen. Tota is terrified for him and can't see what's happening, but the king reassures her, telling her to trust Song. Song manages to tie the creature with electric wires and tries to extract the insect from it, but the creature cuts the wires with its hand and continues chasing him. The fire reaches a gas cylinder, causing a massive explosion. Song hides from the blast just in time, but falls to the ground, exhausted. The creature takes advantage of the situation and approaches him. Song speaks to the student inside, urging him to resist and return to himself. The student's voice is heard crying, and he starts to help Song. Song recalls Tota's words, gathers all his spiritual energy into his hand, and strikes the student with it. He successfully removes the parasite from the student's body, destroys it with his hand, and carries the student on his back. The next day, Song goes to the restaurant, and his friend is shocked to see him alive. She hugs him, crying with joy. Tota is happy he succeeded in his mission, but the King of Souls tells her that this was the weakest creature, and the journey ahead is still long. He tells her they must return because both the world of souls and humans are in danger. This seems to be the next mission. Each creature tries to steal a magical artifact, including a giant who steals a magical orb. There are also dragons as powerful as the giant, each with unique abilities, stealing what they desire. Later, one of the creatures is seen in the human world, sitting in a park holding a magical orb. A child notices him and asks about it. He laughs and says it's something special. Suddenly, a strong storm occurs, causing all the children to faint and fall to the ground. It turns out the magical orb absorbs their souls and traps them inside. The King of Souls summons Song to train him to use spiritual energy and fight the creatures, but Song struggles to control it. Suddenly, the king sees what happened in the park and realizes the creatures have started their plan to take over the world. Song visits the hospital and sees the children in comas. He feels sorry for them and wants to help. He asks Tota to tell him where the creatures are so he can defeat them and return the children's souls. Tota tells him it's impossible because he's still weak. Song encounters the bullies, who thank him for saving their lives and ask how he defeated the student. Song, unable to lie, tells them he died and the King of Souls brought him back to defeat the evil creatures with his spiritual energy. Tota is shocked by his honesty and takes him out of the hospital. The bullies are confused by his words, thinking he's hallucinating due to medication. However, one of them realizes he's the only one who can see Tota, confirming that Song is telling the truth. Tota tells Song about the creature with the magical orb, explaining that it's the most dangerous one because it feeds on children's souls and no one knows its location. Song dismisses her words, saying he'll eat first to gain strength to defeat it. At the restaurant, he meets the child he saved, who's happy to see him and thanks him for what he did. However, the child is sad, saying his friends are in comas and he has no one to play with. Song is shocked by his words and suspects the creature is responsible. He decides to investigate. When he arrives, he sees a child faint and confirms the creature is nearby. He searches for it until he finds it, but the creature tries to escape. Song chases after it, leading to a car scrapyard. He sees the magical orb on the ground and approaches to take it, but suddenly, the creature transforms into a massive monster and attacks him from behind, telling Song he's a weak human who will be defeated in seconds. The creature's strength is so immense that it crushes a car with one blow. Song is shocked by its power and says, "If it touches me, I'm done for." So he tries to avoid his strikes as much as possible. He keeps dodging between cars and attempts to hit him, using his street fighting skills. But the creature rips off a car door and throws it at him. Song manages to jump over it and avoids it at the last moment. He hides and realizes that the only way to defeat him is to use his spiritual energy. He tries to gather his power in his hand as the king instructed, but he fails. The creature senses him and attacks, grabbing him and hitting him with all its strength, breaking his face bones. It lifts him into the air and starts strangling him to finish him off. Song feels dizzy and knows his end is near, but suddenly, the child he saved appears and throws the orb at the creature, telling it to leave him alone. The creature admires the child's bravery and says, "Fine, I'll absorb your soul instead. I love souls like yours." It grabs the magical ball and approaches the child to feed on him. Song tries to stop it, grabbing its leg and telling the child to run, but the creature throws him away, and unfortunately, it absorbs the child's soul. Song becomes furious at what happened and loses his temper, attacking the creature and gathering all his energy into his hands, forming an energy gun. He shoots the creature, successfully defeating it and destroying it. the magical ball falls to the ground, releasing the souls of all the children, which return to their bodies. Everyone wakes up, unable to believe what happened. The child also regains consciousness and finds Song hugging him, thanking him for saving his life for the second time. Song is happy that the child is okay and succeeds in his mission. Later that night, we see a dangerous businessman who has kidnapped a girl and locked her in a box. We learn she is not an ordinary girl, but from a family of spirits. He did this because her tears turn into diamonds, which are valuable to them. He is delighted and plans to sell her. However, his driver approaches the girl, treats her wounds, applies a medical patch, and asks her to endure because he plans to help her escape soon. He does this because he has fallen in love with her. She's surprised by his kindness and asks why he is helping her. He responds, saying he has a sister her age and would never allow anyone to treat her the way she is being treated. She is happy with his words and thanks him. The next day, Song talks to Tota and learns from her about the next creature. She tells him that the creature has a magical artifact in the shape of a mirror that can grant any wish he desires. Therefore, they must defeat him before the full moon because a catastrophe could occur, killing many humans, as the magical artifact only activates during this time. Meanwhile, a bully overhears their conversation and is shocked, especially when Tota disappears, realizing she is not human. However, he does not react abnormally and goes to Song to help locate the creature. He follows him to a hospital and enters behind him. The creature reveals that he will return the mirror after fulfilling his wish. He explains that his mother is gravely ill and he wants to heal her. Song is shocked by what he hears. Afterwards, Song exits the hospital and talks to the creature, who tells him he has lived among humans for 20 years, hiding in the old woman's house to regain his strength. However, he was touched by her kindness and decided to stay with her. He discovered that he developed emotions like humans and wanted to save the woman to repay her kindness. Song is moved by his words. Tota, who is with them, learns that the creature has a good heart and sympathizes with him. She meets with Song and tells him something he doesn't know. The magical mirror, unfortunately, takes the life of the person who makes the wish. She reveals that tonight is the night of the full moon. Song is shocked by her words. They rush to save the creature, but suddenly, the bully leader appears. Knowing everything happening, he asks Song to let the creature die, believing all creatures are evil and should not be helped. However, Song disagrees, saying the creature has a kind heart and did everything to save a human. He goes to help him. At that moment, the creature stands before his mother, promising to save her. When the moon is full, he uses the magical mirror and wishes for his mother to live happily. The mirror grants his wish, but pulls him inside. Song arrives, trying to save him, but the bully tries to stop him out of fear. Song pushes him aside and enters the mirror. He talks to the creature, asking him to reconsider, but the creature refuses, saying all he wants is for his mother to live happily. Song tells him that his mother will never be happy, knowing he sacrificed himself. She will live with regret and sadness, unable to forgive herself. The creature remains unconvinced and decides to sacrifice himself. Song is forced to help him. They both return to the human world, but this time, each with half their lifespan. The mother wakes up healed and is overjoyed that her son stayed by her side. The creature is happy to see her health improve and thanks Song, deciding to spend the rest of his life with her in peace. The bully is moved by what happened, realizes he was wrong, and apologizes to Song. Song dismisses his apology. At this point, we see a three-eyed creature standing on a high place. We learn he is a ninja using his third eye to locate someone in a car. He jumps off the building and chases the person, stopping in front of the car and successfully slicing it in half with one strike of his sword. He approaches and takes the bag the person was carrying, revealing it contains diamond tears from the girl. I hope you enjoyed the events that unfolded. Although there wasn't much drama, the next period will bring destruction. All you need to do now is subscribe to the channel